When a millionaire's paralyzed daughter meets a mysterious beggar boy who whispers, "I can make her walk again," everything changes. What follows is a journey through sacred forests, ancient spirits, and a miracle that comes at an unimaginable price. But can love and sacrifice restore balance? Or will it cost the boy his soul? The streets of Ibadan buzzed with life, but for little Kwame, it was just another day of survival. Dressed in a torn brown shirt and with dust-covered feet, he sat by the roadside, watching people pass, sometimes tossing a coin into his rusted tin. But today was different. A shiny black car screeched to a halt nearby. Out stepped Mr. Tundaluko, a man known for his vast real estate empire and cold demeanor. His daughter, Zola, sat in a wheelchair, her eyes filled with longing as she watched other children run by. A car accident 2 years ago had left her paralyzed from the waist down. Kwame watched them curiously. There was pain in Zola's eyes he recognized, one only those who've lost everything can understand. Gathering his courage, Kwame stood and walked towards them. "Sir," he called gently. Mr. Tund turned, clearly irritated. "I don't have money for beggars today." "I don't want money," Kwame said, his voice steady. "I want to help your daughter walk again." Zola's eyes widened. Mr. Tund looked down at the boy in disbelief. "What kind of nonsense is this? I've seen things most people don't believe. My grandmother was a healer in our village. She passed her knowledge to me before she died. I may be young, but I can help," Kwame said with conviction. Mr. Tund scoffed. "You expect me to believe a street boy can do what the best doctors in the world couldn't? I only ask for one chance." Zola looked at her father. "Daddy, what if he's right?" Mr. Tund looked into the boy's determined eyes, then sighed. "You have 5 minutes." Kwame knelt beside Zola, closed his eyes, and whispered words in a forgotten dialect of the Yoruba people. The crowd that had started gathering watched silently as he gently touched her knees, his hands glowing faintly with an unexplainable warmth. Suddenly Zola gasped. "I felt something." Mr. Tund's heart skipped a beat. "What did you feel?" "I felt my toes move." The crowd murmured. Mr. Tund knelt beside her, placing his hand on her foot. "Try again, baby." Zola focused. Her toes wiggled. Mr. Tund turned pale. He slowly looked up at the boy, stunned. "Who are you?" Kwame smiled gently. "Someone who believes in hope." The marketplace was still humming, but for Mr. Tundaluko, time had stopped. He knelt frozen beside his daughter, staring at her moving toes as if the world had tilted on its axis. Around them, whispers filled the air, not just about Zola's miracle, but the beggar boy who spoke of ancient healing. Kwame stepped back, sweat on his brow. Healing even a small part of a broken body demanded energy. But something inside him burned stronger than ever. The spirits were with him. "How did you do that?" Tund asked again, his voice hushed. Kwame didn't answer right away. He turned to the gathering crowd. "Does anyone have a calabash of clean water?" An older woman stepped forward. Mama Ebel, a respected herb seller. She eyed the boy curiously and handed him a small bowl. "You carry the old ways in your eyes, child," she said. "Be careful." Kwame nodded in gratitude. "Thank you, Mama." Turning to Tund, he said, "If you truly want your daughter healed, you must bring her to the sacred grove of Ife. I can only begin the healing here. The full journey is not meant for city streets." Mr. Tund hesitated. "That's 2 days away. Deep in the forest. Dangerous." "My daughter. She will be safe," Kwame said, firm. "But I must warn you. Healing comes with sacrifice." Zola, still in shock, gripped her father's hand. "I want to go." That night, Tund's sleek SUV carved its way through the outskirts of Ibadan. Zola sat in the back, watching the city lights fade. Kwame rode in silence, his gaze fixed out the window, but his ears alert to the ancestors' whispers. At a gas stop, Tund finally broke the silence. "Where are your parents?" "I don't know," Kwame said softly. "I was left at a shrine when I was a baby. The old priestess, Nana Kosi, raised me until the government drove us out. She died protecting our scrolls. I've been alone since." Tun's heart clenched at the boy's story. "You're gifted. You deserve more than life on the streets." Kwame smiled faintly. "Gifts don't choose comfort. They choose purpose." The next day, just before dusk, they arrived at the edge of the sacred grove. The air shimmered with unseen energy. Birds fell silent. The path before them curved into ancient trees whose roots pulsed faintly in the earth. "This is it," Kwame said, stepping out first. "From here she must enter alone, and I with her." Zola looked at her father. Tund hesitated, then kissed her forehead. "Come back to me, my child." Kwame took her hand. As they vanished into the emerald shadows of the grove, Mr. Tund whispered, "May the gods protect you both." The sacred grove of Ife was no ordinary forest. Each tree whispered in a language only the chosen could hear. Sunlight streamed through the thick canopy in golden ribbons, casting mystic patterns on the path below. Birds watched in silence. Time itself seemed slower. Kwame led the way, holding Zola's hand gently. Though she remained in her wheelchair, she felt something different, like the air itself was pressing into her skin, speaking to her soul. "Where are we going exactly?" Zola whispered. "To the pool of Nai," Kwame replied. "That's where the ancestors speak. It is where healing becomes possible, if your spirit is willing." Zola swallowed hard. "What does that mean?" "It means healing your legs is more than just a body thing. You must heal your heart, your fears, your doubts. You have to believe, deep inside." As they walked deeper, Zola's wheelchair suddenly stopped. The wheels wouldn't budge. Kwame didn't panic. He knelt beside her, placed both palms on the earth, and murmured a prayer. The ground rumbled softly. Zola's eyes widened as the roots of a nearby tree slowly moved, lifting the chair and guiding it forward, as if the earth itself was helping her. "The forest has accepted you," Kwame whispered. Moments later, they reached a wide clearing, where a shimmering pool rested under a natural dome of vines. The water sparkled like silver under moonlight, though the sun still hovered above the horizon. "This is it," Kwame said. He gently lifted Zola from the chair, laying her beside the pool. "Close your eyes. Listen." Zola obeyed. Kwame began to chant. His voice was young but ancient, carrying wisdom and rhythm not taught in schools. As his chant deepened, the waters of the pool stirred. A wind circled them, low at first, then rising. From the depths of the pool, faint silhouettes appeared. Ancestral spirits, men and women, warriors and healers, barefoot and glowing. Zola opened her eyes and gasped. "Don't fear them," Kwame said. "They are here for you." One of the spirits, a tall woman with kind eyes and white hair like moonlight, stepped forward. "I am Esi, guardian of movement. Why do you seek your legs, child?" Zola trembled. "Because I want to dance again. To run. To live. I don't want to be carried anymore." Sai looked deep into her. "Then release the pain. The fear. The memory of the car crash. Forgive what chained you." Zola shut her eyes and let the tears fall, every ounce of fear, guilt, and grief pouring into the earth like rain. The wind stilled. The water calmed. And Zola felt warmth in her knees. Her fingers clutched the ground. Slowly, unknowingly, she began to push herself upright. Kwame opened his eyes and watched, breath held. Zola stood. Her legs were trembling like newborn fawns, but she was standing. I'm up," she cried, voice cracking. The spirits slowly faded. The forest bowed. Zola stood in stunned silence, the earth firm beneath her bare feet. Her arms trembled not from fear, but from the realization of what had just happened. She had walked. Not a dream. Not a trick. No machines, no medicine. Only faith, spirit, and the boy who had believed when no one else did. Kwame's face lit up with a quiet joy, but his body swayed. He stumbled slightly, catching himself on a branch. Zola rushed to him, on her own 2 feet. "Kwame!" she cried, holding his shoulders. "Are you okay?" He nodded weakly. "You're walking. That's all that matters." But the truth was clear. Kwame had paid a price. The healing had drained him. His gift was powerful but not limitless. Each miracle drew from his very soul. The grove pulsed again. A low hum filled the air, and the voice of Esi, the spirit guardian, echoed faintly. "To restore life is to give a piece of your own. He is young, but he carries the fire of old. Protect him." Zola's eyes welled with tears. She had received her miracle, but now she saw the cost. She took Kwame's hand. "We're going back. Together." With her newfound strength, she helped him into the wheelchair. He smiled. "Looks like it's your turn to push." The forest cleared the path before them, the roots and vines parting with grace. As they exited the grove, the late afternoon sun painted the sky in orange and gold. Mr. Tund stood there, hands clenched, face anxious. He looked up and froze. Zola was walking. "Zola!" he whispered, taking slow steps forward. "Daddy!" she cried, running into his arms. He held her tightly, overcome with emotion. How is this possible?" Kwame stepped forward, weak but proud. "She believed." Tund looked at him with new eyes, not as a beggar, but as something else entirely. "Prophet. Healer. A miracle. You did this," he whispered. "I owe you everything." Kwame shook his head. "You owe me nothing. Just believe in those who have nothing." Tund knelt beside him. "Come with us. Let me take care of you." But Kwame looked at the horizon. "My work isn't finished. There are others waiting, others hurting. The spirits guide me." Zola stepped in. "At least stay one night. Rest, please." Kwame hesitated. Then he nodded. That night they stayed at Tund's countryside home. For the first time in years, Kwame slept in a bed. Zola danced on the grass under the stars. Tund watched them both, realizing his wealth had never bought him what that boy had given so freely, hope. But deep in the forest, another presence stirred. The spirit of the sacred grove had granted a miracle. But balance must be maintained. And someone or something was coming for Kwame. The stars shimmered high above as a gentle wind rustled the tall grass around Tund's country villa. Inside, laughter echoed. Zola danced barefoot on the polished floor, her movements light and joyous. Mr. Tund watched her with tears in his eyes, never imagining he'd see his daughter walk, let alone twirl and leap. Kwame sat quietly by the window, sipping warm herbal tea prepared by Mama Ebel, who had arrived earlier that evening. He gazed out at the night sky, his face calm but his eyes distant. Something was coming. The ground gave a slight tremble, so subtle that only Kwame noticed. He placed his tea down and stepped outside. At the edge of the compound, near the whispering trees, a shadow stood waiting. It wasn't human. It wasn't beast. It was the spirit of balance, neither good nor evil, just ancient and unyielding. "You healed where no one else could," the spirit said in a voice that echoed in the air like 100 drums. "And now you must restore what was taken." Kwame took a deep breath. "Take my gift. Leave the girl whole." The spirit tilted its head. "The gift is not yours alone, child. It was passed to you to serve others. But every miracle shifts the balance. A choice must be made." Inside, Zola stopped dancing. She looked toward the window, suddenly uneasy. Her heart tugged with a strange panic. She ran to the door. Kwame! But he was already walking toward the spirit. Tund saw her panic and followed. Together they ran out into the night and froze. Kwame stood facing the spirit, arms open. If a price must be paid, let it be mine. The spirit surged forward like a wave of shadows. No! Zola screamed, running to him. But then, something unexpected happened. The ground beneath them glowed. From the villa's roof to the trees around them, faint golden lights rose. The ancestors. Asai appeared once again, her hands raised. The boy has given freely. But love is the greater force. Zola reached Kwame just as the spirit neared. She grabbed his hand and said, "Then take part of me too. If he gave to heal me, I give to protect him." The spirit paused. For a long moment everything was silent. Then it bowed. The shadows receded. Balance was restored. Not by sacrifice but by shared love. Kwame collapsed to his knees. Zola held him, and Mr. Tund knelt beside them both, overcome with awe and emotion. The spirit vanished into the wind. That night the stars burned brighter. By morning, Kwame awoke in a warm bed, with Zola asleep beside him on a chair. She had refused to leave his side. Tund stepped in, holding a carved walking staff. "For you," he said. "Wherever you go next, may you walk with honor." Kwame stood slowly, taking the staff. He turned to Zola, now fully awake. "Time for me to go," he said gently. Zola hugged him tightly. "I'll never forget you." He smiled. "You don't need to. I'll always be walking somewhere, healing someone else." With that, Kwame walked down the dusty path, the morning sun rising behind him, casting a long shadow of a boy who had once been a beggar, but became something greater. Legend.